Hello and welcome to AWS Made Easy. This is the show where we talk about all things AWS, about cost optimization, FinOps, a bit of AI in there as well. My name's Stephen Barr.
Hi everyone, I'm Rahul Subramaniam, and yeah, some exciting new news that's just come through. How have you been, Stephen? Before we jump into all the details,
Really good. It was a bit of a hectic week last week. How about you? How have you been?
all well. My elder kid is getting dive certified, so I'm looking forward to our next vacation where we can go, where the whole family can go diving. My younger one still has a couple of years to go before he gets his certification, but yeah, it's been fun. It's been a very interesting and exciting adventure.
That is really, really cool. I'm so glad that that's like a big landmark that you've been looking forward to for a while, huh?
That's right. For the last 3 years, my elder one has been wanting to get certified. It's just been waiting to get to the right age.
Well, I'm very excited for the possibilities that this opens up for the two of you.
Absolutely.
Well, should we jump into the AWS news? We got a couple of articles. This is going to be a news review show. Let's see. Let me put this on screen and we'll just jump right into it. There's a lot, always a lot, as we're now in the pre-invent season. So let's see
Correct.
if I'm going to share this. Okay, I'll just start with that one. Uh, this is the countdown to reinvent site, and there's only 61 days to go. That
Hey,
is close.
that time will fly by before we even realize it.
Yeah,
It is extremely close. I I had to think a little bit because there's so many things going on. Wondering what the focus of this reinvent is really going to be is going to be quite interesting.
that is a good question. I mean, I think that there's going to be, well, obviously, there's going to be a lot of AI in there.
Yeah, there's
AI.
going to be a healthy sprinkling of that across the board, but I'm not because that's kind of been the core theme for the last 2 years. So I really wonder what else. I have a feeling it's time to go up the stack to talk about what it means for developers, what it means for enterprises, what it means for businesses who are trying to leverage AI. What are the new offerings one layer up the stack? Is I think where a lot of the conversations are going to be.
So things about AI governance, about AI, a lot more to do with like model routing, optimization. Not just great, we have Bedrock as this raw material, Bedrock and SageMaker. That's
Yeah,
obviously going to be the bread and butter services, just like S3 and RDS. But you're right. We're going to see higher level things around governance and around actually using this stuff. And part of it, I
yeah,
think, is going to be a lot of knowledge sharing about just
correct.
what do we do with this stuff now that we have it.
Yeah, and I think historically we've always looked at AWS as being a developer's domain. It's been for developers by developers. It's been an amazing community. But now with the advent of I think it opens up the community to a much larger cross section of business and enterprise users who are not necessarily developers, but they are product managers. They are product people. Folks who have a dream or a vision to go create an app or create a solution, but they just never had the technical capabilities to do that earlier because the technical threshold for achieving something in AWS has always been higher than normal. And in general, the domain itself requires high technical uh, capabilities to get anything real done. But now with AI, that barrier is being broken every single day. And I wonder if AWS will have something interesting for this new generation of users on the AWS community
Yeah, I
or
think,
on the AWS platform.
well, we're going to find out in 61 days. And there's always going to be, so right now there's going to be a rush of announcements, and then we're
Yeah,
going to get a slowdown as everyone holds their announcements until reInvent. And then, of course, reInvent, there's going to be a big um, explosion of announcements. So
that's right.
there'll be this trajectory. We'll be tracking it every step of the way to see exactly what happens. So that's exciting. And speaking
Absolutely.
of AI, we have a sister show that I wanted to talk about, the AI Excellence Show. I'll put a link for that
Mhm.
in the video description. That is a show um, with the Trilogy AI Center of Excellence, where we're going to be talking about all things AI, not necessarily AWS related, but how AI impacts real life, real decisions. Raul, tell us about what your vision for that is.
Yeah, so the AI Center for Excellence is interesting in that there's just such a flood of information that's coming down the pipeline across the globe. It almost felt parallel to the thing that we were experiencing with AWS, where we centralized all of our experience, all of our expertise, and we started leveraging it across, our entire portfolio of companies and businesses and so on. And it almost felt like a natural progression to do the same for everything that's happening in the AI world. Um, we need to get a lot more efficient, so we started building up a team that just focused on learning everything that's out there and trying to figure out how it applies across the board and try to do some real world exercises, trying to figure out how things fit, where are the gaps, helping people adopt AI faster and better. Um, and that was how the AI Center for Excellence was created. And the goal out of the other sister podcast or the live stream is going to be that we bring all of that experience and knowledge and build a similar community around AI, which is not necessarily restricted to just AWS because that's more global. That's more uh, universal, I think, because I can't think of anyone who doesn't want to or need to use AI going forward. So I think a lot of the syntax is probably going to be similar, but we're going to be talking about everything AI and learning from each other, just like this community has on the AWS side of things.
I'm really looking forward to the show. We've got a really neat lineup of guests, and it's just like you were saying about reInvent. It attracts a wider pool of guests. Whether
Right.
that's technical folks who are in the Microsoft side of things, or and also we have one of our we have a lawyer coming who does
Mhm.
AI and the law. So it's really exciting the kind of discussions we're going to have. I'm can't wait to get into it to get more. I'll put the link into that and have a look at all of our socials. We will be talking about that. We'll still be talking about AI on this show as it relates to AWS, but then for a larger AI in business, AI and the future of innovation, check out AI Excellence by the Trilogy AI Center of Excellence. So we'll have that to look forward to. Okay, back into AWS. So countdown to reinvent 61 days. Anything else to say about that other than
I'm sure
nothing
that
to
we're going to be
expect
doing a
quickly?
bunch of shows before Reinvent actually starts,
Yes.
prepping about all things that you should and shouldn't do during Reinvent. But I couldn't be more excited about this year.
Uh,
Like every year, there's something, there's tons to look forward to.
and not just that, but it's also just seeing all your friends. I
That's
really
true.
like that as well. And it is a bit of an endurance race. By that fourth day, you're like, why did I go to that fourth mixer? What did I? I'm so tired, but it's so much fun. It's worth doing.
That is absolutely true.
All right, next
Great.
next on the list. This is pretty cool. This from our friends over at Compute Optimizer. Compute Optimizer now supports 99 new instance types. Let's see.
Yep.
AWS Compute Optimizer. This is a big announcement. Supports 99 new instance types. So I think they've basically got all of them that aren't special hardware. As far as I
Correct.
understand, that's where they're at. It's everything that isn't one of those instances that have the FPGAs, those kind of things that are very esoteric use cases. But otherwise, they've really got the any instance that you would use is going to
Right.
be in there.
I think they've got the data and the mechanics now, tuned to a point where within a few weeks of a new instance type launching, it generally receives support on AWS Compute Optimizer. And it's not that they did 99 all in one shot. I think they've had some of these recommendations for a few weeks. This is almost like a consolidated announcement post where things have been released. I've been looking at some of these announcements over the last few weeks, but I think this is the consolidated post that says 99 altogether now available.
Yeah. And for those of you, just a quick overview, Compute Optimizer is the service that will give you recommendations on not just EC2. Their scope has grown as well to things like RDS, anything where you're
Right.
using compute and you have levers to pull around size and around provisioning. Compute Optimizer will look at your historical usage and what options are available to you and then give you recommendations. So for a long running EC2 instance, you could say, what size should this be in order to maintain my P99 performance, but for a lower cost? The team
Correct.
behind Compute Optimizer is led by Rick Oakes, and that's where I get a lot of my Compute Optimizer news, is to follow him on LinkedIn. So, here is hiding my email addresses there. He had reposted this from the team, and he always posts. He gives credit to lots of the other team members, and we've had a lot of these folks on the show, like Letty and Fang. This is great.
Yeah,
So follow them on LinkedIn. That's a great place to kind of see it in action. Okay,
that's
Compute
right.
Optimizer 99. How are we going to rate this one?
I think definitely simplifies any new instance type that shows up in Computer Optimizer, simplifies the lives of anyone that tries to not just blow up money. I mean, if your goal in life is to blow up money, sure, this is not for you, but for everyone else, which I think is 99.999% of the folks on the AWS platform, this is incredibly valuable. Computer Optimizer just gives you the recommendations. And remember, Computer Optimizer is very conservative. They don't make a recommendation unless they believe it is truly safe and is truly valuable. So you can just turn it on and make sure that you make the changes recommended by Computer Optimizer. There's tons of money to be saved.
Absolutely. And also remembering CloudFix, our show sponsor, CloudFix can do that for you.
Correct.
But it powers some of the recommendations. But then, yes, Compute Optimizer, very straightforward API, and it's very, very easy to use. How many
And just to
cloud?
be clear, CloudFix actually uses Computer Optimizer under the hood to get all the recommendations and then just implements the fixes, which is to actually change your instance type um, to the appropriate recommendation. I'm going to give this one 4.5 clouds and simplifies.
And I'm using our retro graphics today. So our original show graphics are in here, 4.5 clouds and a simplifies for AWS Compute Optimizer. Okay, let's switch gears over to RDS. RDS
Perfect.
announces, let me turn off the 4.5 clouds. RDS announces cross region and cross account snapshot copy. Now, what I really like about this announcement is that they tell you the thing it's replacing. So I like how it says here, it
Mhm.
says previously customers that copied snapshots cross region and cross account did so in a two-step process that involved first copying the snapshot to a different region and then to a different account or vice versa. So how
Right.
often were people doing this in practice?
I'm not sure. I'm guessing that if you wanted to create replicas and try and keep them up to date, this is a process that you would have to follow because there wasn't an easy way to do
Oh,
this
I
cross
see. Look at
region.
this. Now by performing this action, a single step, customers eliminate an intermediate snapshot copy. That's interesting, thereby meeting a high recovery point objective as well as saving with the intermediate copy.
Correct. So typically, when one region goes down, or you want to just build a redundancy to another region where you want to bring up the service, now the time to bring up the service goes down drastically.
And then here we go. Customers that use custom scripts as well as Lambda for monitoring the immediate copy to then trigger the second copy can simplify these workflows by limiting these process. So what I really like about this announcement, even just forgetting the subject matter itself, but they actually said like this is the pain point because
Yeah,
I'm sure that for someone this is a they built this for somebody.
correct.
And I sometimes you look at the articles that are the more esoteric announcements, and you're like, who the hell needed this? And for this one, it's like, okay, cool. Like maybe we don't need to do this, but this I really like how it spells out this is the problem that it's fixing.
That's right. Yeah, so I'm going to give this a 4.5 clouds, and definitely simplifies because it's taken two or more steps down to something simple and automatic.
And getting rid of an intermediate copy, that's definitely a good thing. And anytime you have another copy around, right, it's room for waste, room for forgetting this copy, and then room for security issues if you forget that copy was there. So
Absolutely.
awesome. Well, let's take a really quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk more about what's the next one on the list? Oh, Sonnet
Good.
4.5. We will be right back.
Yeah.
Awesome. And if you were listening, if you didn't see the promo, it was a bit about how to save on CloudFix and RDS. And my colleague Bill Gleason and I did an RDS webinar. I'll put the link in that description. There's a lot of ways that you can save on RDS. We did that webinar recently, and yeah, there's a lot of different levers you can pull to save on RDS. Okay, let's look at Sonnet 4.5. I'll share this tab here and put this up on
So
screen.
Sonnet 4.5 got released yesterday. And wait, yeah, yesterday.
Here we go.
And then it's now available on Bedrock right out of the box. So that's pretty awesome. And I think the partnership between Anthropic and AWS has been amazing. As soon as something is announced by Anthropic, it's almost immediately available on AWS. By the way, I've found it to be incrementally better on the coding tasks compared to a lot of the other models out there. Sonnet has continued to be my favorite model to go to for coding over every other model out there so far. And I've been using 4.5 since yesterday. And I would say it's incrementally better. I wouldn't say it's not quite the jump that we got from a 3.5 to 4 or even a 2 to 3.5 or 3 to 3.5 for that matter.
Well, I
This
wonder why they
is
didn't call it 4.1.
Yeah, I think it feels more like a 4.1 or 4.2, not a 4.5. But maybe they're just going for the 5 next and wanted this to be the midpoint release.
Makes sense. And they're, as tech people, you want to think that we're totally just engineering focused, but there's a bit of marketing in here too, right?
That's true.
Because GPT is at version 5, so this feels older
Correct.
than GPT.
Yeah.
All right. You said you've been using this a lot. How have you tried Supernova,
I
the new
haven't tried
mystery model?
Supernova. No, I haven't tried Supernova yet. Uh, but 4.5, I've been doing a bunch of coding related tasks with 4.5 since yesterday. And the place where I found it to do better is particularly analyzing your requirements and creating a plan. I think it's gotten a lot better at that. It's also gotten a lot better at looking at multiple code files all at the same time in the analysis. I think it misses out a lot less than it used to earlier. And in general, the first shot recommendation for what needs to get done is way better than Sonnet 4. Sonnet 4 um, produced, I'd say, 3 to 4x more false path. When I say false path, I mean it makes a recommendation for how you should go about doing something, which just seems incorrect and inefficient or just as bad practice to follow. Uh, Sonnet 4.5 reduces that by almost 75 to 80%.
And I think this is what we want to cover in part of the AI excellence
Yep.
show is not just having the models, but then how you actually use them. Right? Is like I've found that one thing I do is I collect very simple examples. So I've been
Mhm.
using Strands agents, one of AWS's agentic
Yeah,
platform. They use Strands agents quite a bit, and they're not particularly well known within the model. And you
correct.
can point it at the documentation, and Strands actually has a neat MCP server that will actually search the Strands documentation. But still, it's not that great at doing things the idiomatic way. And
Correct.
so having a few example files around and saying, do it this way, and try
Mhm.
to make it do this transfer learning. But still, like you really have to, sometimes you really fight it sometimes to not,
Yeah,
uh,
that's right.
yeah. I was trying to do something earlier today where I have an agent, and Strands is neat because if you have an agent that has tools, you can write things that are kind of semi procedural. Like
Yeah,
you can in the code you can say just call this tool directly instead of
yeah,
asking the agent to call the tool for you. But I couldn't get well, I was using code Supernova, and I couldn't get it to do that. I had to explicitly change it and say, okay, do it like line 478 from now on. Do it this way.
yeah, yeah. Those kind of instructions, like I said, are much better handled with Sonnet 4.5 right now compared to how even Sonnet 4 used to be.
All right, well, let's rate this one. How do you think? Like, I think it's an interesting one. It's there's a lot of marketing in here. Um, I see they're using is Anthropic's most intelligent model, complex agents, coding, long horizon.
I think I'm going to give this a 4 cloud instead of a 4.5 um, for that reason, which is clear cut use cases are not so clear cut. And then, yeah, I think that's going to be the biggest reason to buck this up for. In general, it's a great model. It's easy to use. Nothing has changed. Fully backward compatible in terms of your code bases. All of that stuff is great.
And there is a companion blog post by Matthias Guiamares. I actually haven't read the companion post yet. Okay, interesting. Smart context window management. I have to dig into this more. I think this
Yeah,
is
I think they also announced some memory and a bunch of other capabilities in Sonnet 4.5. So I still have to dig in and get all of that. But we are going to be covering all of that in very great detail in the other podcasts that we're
an
doing,
AI excellence.
the AI
Okay.
Excellence podcast.
Well, as an announcement, then we have given this a four, and it's definitely simplifies, right?
Definitely simplifies. The fact that it's available the same day on AWS versus some other day or week. I think the first couple of models took weeks before they showed up in Bedrock. Now it's the same day, which is absolutely awesome.
Now, are you using Claude Code to use this, or how are you interacting with Sonnet 4.5?
So I use both Cloud Code as well as the Cursor agent to work with Sonnet 4.5.
Also, I'm putting in the dashboard. This is something that is a very useful way. If you're using Claude Code and you want to use Bedrock, this is how you start it. Have you?
Hmm.
There's an environment variable that you can set. Claude Code use
Yeah.
Bedrock equals one. Make sure you do this, or you're going to burn through all of your Claude credits really quickly. It's surprising how fast you can hit the
Correct.
limits even of your max subscription. So Claude Code use Bedrock equals one Claude. That way you can use Claude on Bedrock. Okay, let's go do our last. I think we've got one more to cover for today. Let's
It's
switch over.
around GP3s.
Yes. Uh, okay. EBS increases the maximum size and provision performance of GP3 volumes. Okay,
Yep.
so EBS now supports higher volume limits for its GP3 volumes. This update GP3 volumes can scale up to 64 terabytes in size, 4x the previous limit, up to 80,000 IOPS, 5x the previous 16,000 IOPS limit, and up to 2,000 megabytes per second throughput. 2x the previous 1,000 megabit per second limit. That's really, really
Yeah.
cool.
I mean, again, this goes back to something you said earlier, which is sometimes you wonder who requires that kind of an EBS volume. Um, I'm sure that there are some folks out there who really require it, need it, who find tremendous value in it. It may not be for everyone, though.
I'm pulling up a slide that I very recently did. This is one of the really neat things from a cost optimization perspective. We all at Cloudfix, one thing that we look at is IO1 or IO2 volumes that could be
Mhm.
replaced with GP3.
Correct.
And now that we have this, um, the amount of volumes that you could replace grows. Okay, I'm going to share this
Correct.
slide here. Okay, so this is the slide that I used for this. Oops. Here we go. Okay, so what we say in this slide is okay, there's some volumes over here that could be served by GP3,
Right.
and there's some that are served by IO2 or IO1.
Yep.
And this intersection in this Venn diagram just got a lot bigger.
Yep.
So that's
That's
exciting
right.
from a cost optimization perspective because IO1, IO2 volumes are a lot more expensive.
Agreed.
So what this finder fixer does, what you could do yourself if you want to cost optimize, is look at all your IO1, IO2 volumes where, aside from your latency, because GP3 can never
Mhm.
match IO2 for latency. But if you're only using, well, I guess now, if you're only using, if your volume could be covered by GP3, why does it need to be IO1, IO2, especially for
Yep.
dev and test and staging and QA and all those other things that aren't prod? Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, so this intersection in this Venn diagram just got a whole lot bigger. So that's
True.
more ways to save. If you have automation for this, go and rerun it. Adjust your numbers in your automation and rerun it. We're going to have to update our numbers in our automation, and then there's more savings that we could open up. So this is cool. This is how you can save I1, I2, GB3, and we have a whole blog post on this. Let me put up the QR code for this right there. So yeah, there is our IO1, IO2, how to save blog post, and it's pretty cool that that this yeah showing that Venn diagram, um, the intersection of what GP3 can cover and what IO1, IO2 can cover just got a lot
Right.
bigger. So
Absolutely.
go reevaluate. Let's see.
Awesome. So I'm going to give this one a 4 star and simplifies.
Simplifies. Here we go, and then our four cloud.
Mhm.
This is interesting. Try to look at these expanded limits help reduce operational complexity for storage intensive workloads. Oh, here's the other big one. You can consolidate multiple striped volumes into a single GP3 volume. Um,
Oh, this is interesting. I have not seen this one before.
let's see. This I have to look more into this. And then sometimes you can also do that at the application layer, particularly with
Right.
databases. And there's a really good blog post. It's kind of a complicated blog post, but it's there. Let me um, but you can do this at the application layer and you can still save a lot. um,
Yeah.
let's see. Actually, here I'll put this slide on here. This is an example that they give in AWS's blog post of, okay, if you have an IO2 block express and you want to hit this many IOPS and this much provision storage, you could do it this way for $30,000 of IO2 or $5,300 of GP3. And
Right.
now you this could be even smaller because this could be covered by, actually, you wouldn't even need 6 volumes. One GP3 volume can cover this per node. So that
True.
would be substantially cheaper. Look, because in this example, it's talking about 14,000 IOPS
Right.
and 2 terabytes needing 6 volumes, but you can cover that now with one.
Yeah.
So that's pretty neat.
I agree. Yeah, this significantly simplifies the lives of anyone needing large volumes and constantly having to make the trade-offs between the IO2 um, as well as the GP3 volumes that are currently available. So definitely simplifies, definitely makes the overall structure really compact and simple. And yeah, couldn't be more excited.
All right, well, I think it's time to wrap up this episode. I don't see anything else for the day. Yeah, the big mystery. I'm still thinking about who is Code Supernova. What is that one? I've been playing with that in Cursor a lot, and for those not in the know, Cursor and a lot of the other AI tools just shipped this model called Code Supernova. Has a
Yep.
1 million token context window, and everyone is staying quiet about who made it. Um,
Yep.
so this kind
If
of
you have an indication as to who that might be, please drop us a just DM us or let us know.
someone's going to do a big reveal at some point and say, "Ah, surprise! It was us."
Yeah.
It's a good marketing. Whoever's in the marketing department for whoever this is, this was a neat idea. Yeah, this is like the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory of AI. Right? This is a big mystery. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for being here. Thanks, Raul. Looking forward to the next episode, and I'll put the link for AI Excellence in this show. Please give that a follow as well.
Perfect. Thank you, Stephen.
All right, bye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. See you all soon. Bye.
Some tools just find AWS cost savings and make you do all the work. Visualizing cost opportunities is great, but that's not enough. CloudFix, on the other hand, actually delivers those savings for you. And you don't need to worry because CloudFix uses AWS recommended savings techniques. It fixes, not just finds. It's the easiest way to save money on AWS. It's 100% automatic and risk-free. And the best part of all, it works non-stop. Stop overspending on AWS and click on the link to start saving now.